Reality television is bigger now than it has ever been, and in most cases, in order for a reality show to thrive, there needs to be violence,
I can't believe I did that.
drama,
Well, thank God none of your is in my bloodstream, because I'll be damned.
and scandal.
I'm first, she's second, and if you're dealing with us, bitch, you're gonna be last.
In many cases, reality television is scripted or arranged in some way. This could mean that everything from the people that appear in a scene to the words that they say are planned, or that production scheduled shooting for 2 people at the same time in the same place, or anything in between. But the point of the reality qualifier is that they're trying to convince you that it's real. Sometimes they try to do that by blending in real events that they can provide receipts for. A lot of the time, this allows them to simultaneously address a scandal and monetize it. In rare cases, a scandal can turn into a heartwarming story that is actually rooted in reality. But in some cases, they sweep the scandals under the rug until they can no longer ignore them, which is where VH1 is with Black Ink Crew. A show built on the foundation of Black tattoo artists working and living in New York. By the show's 10th season, they don't even average 1 tattoo session per episode. Most of the tattoos they do show on the program are nothing to write home about. Today we'll be focusing on Caesar, but remember, while Caesar has absolutely done bad things, the real villains are the show itself, Black Ink Crew, the production company, Big Fish Entertainment, the network, VH1, and the parent company, Viacom, who allowed this behavior to continue, displayed it to the masses, and didn't step in until they'd already built a profitable brand on violence and abuse. As always, I'll link all of my sources. Please feel free to look at them, watch things, read things, develop your own opinions. Let's start. Duchess started on the show as one of Caesar's employees, and they quickly became a pair, and that happening will be a recurring theme. On the show, they went through a number of trials and tribulations, including cheating scandals. Duchess also quickly became a villain on the show, and she definitely had some missteps on the show, including some sexual abuse allegations that seemed to be proven as false by production and some other things, but we're not talking about her at the moment. We're talking about her allegations against Caesar. After Duchess left Black Ink Crew, she did an interview on The Breakfast Club where she accused Caesar of abuse. To be perfectly clear, she presented co-host Angela Yee with a domestic incident report. The report said, "No weapons, no injury," statement was refused. And when Charlemagne asked her if Caesar hit her, she pled the fifth. But she agreed with DJ Envy when he said that she didn't tell the police what happened to prevent legal consequences. Here's the clip.
The first thing here is a domestic incident report.
Are you trying to say Caesar hit you or something? Let me read it, Yee.
I'm telling you what it says here. It says, you guys had a verbal argument about personal issues, no weapons, no injury. Statement was refused.
Oh, that ain't nothing. A little verbal argument.
My G, I am 30 years old. I ain't had no domestic disputes with no other human in this world.
But it could be verbal, though.
I don't care
what
what
she's saying
you're
is
talking.
she didn't tell on him to put him in jail.
Come on, bro.
Did he hit you, Duchess? Come on, let's be
Charlemagne.
since we being real.
Charlemagne. I plead the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Duchess alleges other things as well in this interview, including that she paid Caesar's child support and the light bill at Black Ink several times.
Sweetheart, he didn't give me nothing. Mm-hmm. And if you got proof of the money, see, the money that I have proof of, I have the receipts in there of when I paid for child support. I got receipts.
Yes.
You saw
Who
it.
You got a lot of
C's child
support payments in here.
Thank you. I have proof when I paid the light bill at Black Ink, which is not my shop.
Hold on, you paid Caesar's child support for him?
It was on the show, and I have the receipts of when I did it more than just the time that it was on the show.
How much was it if you paid it?
I'm not gonna say it. Go ahead and say it,
It's
Angela.
a lot of pages.
Look at the check stub.
About $20,000 worth.
This is likely true, and not just because she brought receipts of payment, but because in an interview, Caesar said that after she left, he had to figure out how to be fiscally responsible for his own business rather than relying on her to look over the books. He even talks about being unable to pay the light bill a couple of times during those earlier seasons of Duchess. In July of 2022, Duchess went live to react to the allegations of animal abuse that Caesar faced. Not only did she bring up the abuse she faced and Cheyenne's allegations, Cheyenne is Caesar's daughter, we'll talk about her in a minute, she said that Caesar leaked information about sexual assault she experienced as a child to the Shade Room, in addition to orchestrating other drama in her real life just to get back at her. I couldn't couldn't find this information on the Shade Room, but that's not me saying that it didn't happen, just that I couldn't find receipts, and so they won't be linked below.
When I talked about the shit he was doing in the shop, I was being a manipulator. When I said certain shit was going down, I was lying. When I talked about him putting his hands on me, y'all said I was a liar. Once I did the Breakfast Club interview, VH1, the same network that fired Cease, VH1 sent me a cease and desist after I did the Breakfast Club interview. That's what they did. The same people that has now fired him over a fucking dog. Now, for some of y'all gonna say, oh, this is about him. This is definitely not about him. This is about why the fuck black women feel like we are so fucking unprotected, disrespected. This is what this is really about. Especially a fucking entire network that knew what the fuck I was going through, but did not want that to be part of my storyline, which forced me to leave. Allowed him to drag me through the mud, berate me, belittle me, publicly humiliate me, drag out the fact that I was a rape survivor as a fucking child. He put that story out on the fucking Shade Room. And they posted that shit. That was the first time majority of my family even knew about that stuff. I went through suicide attempts. I went through depression. I went through some very fucking dark shit behind this. And a lot of it is because a lot of people would send me hate messages, call my tattoo shop, the beautiful shop that I'm in right now, call this place of business with threats. All over a fucking TV show with a nigga that was fucking abusing me behind closed doors. This past year, I think, and I don't know, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong because I don't keep up with shit. Like, let's just keep it 100. But I did see how the situation, even with his daughter, a child, a young black woman, ain't even enough to make y'all hold somebody accountable.
In January of 2021, Caesar's daughter Cheyenne did an Instagram live during which she accused him of abuse. She did another live in May of 2021 where she talked more about it, so I'm going to refer to both videos. Cheyenne said that after she cleaned the home where she was staying with Caesar and his girlfriend at the time, Suzette, she got in the shower because she was on her period and didn't feel well. Caesar came into the bathroom and told her to do the dishes, and she said that she would after her shower. He then pulled her out of the shower and beat her. Cheyenne alleges that he beat her, stomped her, threw a speaker at her, and broke her bedroom door down, all at the behest of his girlfriend Suzette, who was upset with her for not cleaning as much as she would have liked her to. Though she doesn't show any bruises or marks, she says that she had them in the January live. She also said that Caesar only came into her life around 2018 or 19 and was absent for a big part of her childhood, but she does say that they were close and calls him her best friend on several occasions. She alleges that Suzette is a scammer, pulled a gun on her uncle, likely Teddy, and did other questionable things.
I dead cleaned that house, 8-bedroom house by myself, walked the dog, and cleaned everything. Wait, his girl did something to you? No. His girlfriend, well, yeah, his girlfriend made him beat my ass because I didn't want to wash the dishes. I was in the fucking shower. I didn't even say I wasn't washing the dishes. I stood here and said I would wash the dishes after I got out the shower. He told me low the music. First of all, he came drunk as fuck. That nigga came drunk as fuck. My bathroom, there's 2 doors to get in. There's the one with the sink, the fucking toilet, and then go through the other one, there's a shower. You have to get through 2 doors to get in my shower. He broke the first one, he broke the second one to just get to me, and he broke my sliding fucking glass door to get to me and beat the shit out of me. Glass everywhere, my speaking through the speaker on my fucking head, all that. When I get out the shower, I'm going to my room. He breaks that door too. I'm trying to get dressed. No, and if y'all really want to see marks, I can show marks. What the fuck? And he's the one, he don't take care of his daughter. He been out of my life. He just came in my life 2 years ago and want to act like he's fucking daddy of the fucking year. No, bitch. You don't do shit for me. When I'm not in the shower, you pulled me out the shower by my hair, bro. By my hair. I'm a female. You're not supposed to beat me like that. Now, if a boy beat me like that, all hell will break loose. That used to be on my life almost every day when I was in Atlanta. Everybody know I was cleaning that house. I was on the live cleaning the house. I was doing fun things cleaning the house. So don't ever sit here and say I ain't clean that house, because I did. I had my menstrual. I went to get in the shower. I didn't feel that. I cleaned that whole house from top to bottom. Broke boxes down. Because I ain't clean the dishes. I said I was going to do it after the shower. I ain't say it disrespectfully. But since your girlfriend didn't want to do it, she never do it. She don't clean, she don't cook, she don't wash clothes. I do it. Everybody know I love my father. That's my best friend. But one thing for sure, 2 things for sure, you're not about to lie on my name, say I disrespected you, say you're not my father, F you, I'm not doing nothing. How another female encouraged him to hit me? Oh, beat her, because she's not washing the dishes. I don't feel like doing it.
Suzette responded on Instagram calling Cheyenne disrespectful, overweight, and alleging that Cheyenne used to call Suzette mom and wanted her to be her mother, and that Crystal, Cheyenne's real mother, was getting Cheyenne to lie for a Black Ink Crew storyline. Caesar responded by sending a cease and desist to his daughter and Crystal. In late January, Crystal, Cheyenne's mother, corroborated her allegations and showed the cease and desist, and Cheyenne doubled down on her allegations when Caesar's animal abuse allegations surfaced. Now, Cheyenne's lives are addressed on the show by Caesar and Teddy in season 9, but it quickly becomes a conversation about Crystal rather than talking about Cheyenne and what she needs, or even handling it offline like many people in Cheyenne's live wanted the family to do. To be fair, Teddy tells Caesar that Suzette violated Cheyenne and that it would be in Caesar's best interest to end his relationship with her if he wants a relationship with Cheyenne in the future.
That she did, like, with going back and forth with Shop on social media, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It rubbed both of us the wrong way. Why is an adult arguing with a child? I know we're trying to stop using this word, but for lack of a better term, that's done, bro. She violated Shop, it's over. You know what I'm saying? If you're still even speaking to that girl after her violating your child, and if she's this woman that you're saying she is, she should be able to play the background for a little while. and offer your daughter a big ass apology, bro.
He also says that Cheyenne is not in her right mind due to the pandemic, and Caesar writes off her live as a teenage outburst. But then things become about Crystal hating or whatever.
At first, I took it as karma, like I put my parents through hell. We put our parents through hell, like we did, you know what I mean? But to take it this far, well, if these allegations are anywhere true, she could have destroyed me over her being mad with a teenage outburst. It's a pandemic going on. Nobody's in their right mind. Picture a child. You know what I'm saying? Watching Cheyenne's live video really broke my heart. I felt like I was betrayed by the person I love most in the world. Crystal started her bull with you when you decided to become a full-time tattoo artist. Then look what you turned into. She missed opportunity. It's crazy to me that we've been dealing with this for almost 16 years now. Crystal left C's in the dirt a long time ago and expected him not to do nothing with his life, especially when he said he wanted to become a tattoo artist. Fast forward 10 years later, he's one of the top tattoo artists. You ever really thought about it ever since Dutchess? How I ain't never been able to have a relationship. See, every time I get close to a female, Crystal will come with the, yo, you putting her before your daughter.
Not only does Caesar never connect Crystal allegedly not wanting him to be prosperous in Cheyenne's live, so he never talks about how he believes those two are related, he never clarifies what actually happened, only that Cheyenne is supposedly lying. He also remained with Suzette after this altercation. Since Cheyenne doubled down on her allegations in 2022, it seems like this was incorporated into his storyline for a sprinkle of drama and not really to resolve or address anything. More recently, it seems like the show has taken action by letting go of cast members who are more prone to violence. For example, 2 cast members, Sky and Donna, who were known for being more physically antagonizing, were not on season 10 of the show. And of course, there's a difference between abuse and a mutually consented fight, and I would never argue that they are the same. But let's talk about the show's pattern of violence through more consensual physical altercations first, because it will be important later. As I said before, there likely isn't a single person on the cast that hasn't gotten into a physical fight of some sort. To name all the people that have been involved in fights off the top of my head, there's Puma, Caesar, Teddy, Sky, Kitty, Bay, Crystal, Donna, Richard, Tati, London, Alex, Rock, Jada, Toki. That's a lot. And it doesn't even cover the Chicago and Compton branches of the show, where there is absolutely more fighting. Not only does the show stand for violence, it thrives on it. Why else would they make fight compilations and titles like this? This video actually took place in the most recent season, and the comments are all critiquing production because they're hypocritical. In this video, the executive producer, Treva Williams, who we'll talk more about later, comes in and admonishes a cast member named Crystal for hitting someone with a cup.
Yeah, it's bad.
You hit somebody? See? You hit somebody? First of all, y'all know well that ain't how we get down.
For context, Crystal and Bay got into an argument. Bay threw a cup, Crystal threw a cup. But Miss Williams doesn't admonish anyone else on screen for this hit, or this one, or this one. Even in the midst of the shouting, all Miss Williams can worry about is production being shut down.
This whole show gets shut down over dumb.
Alex even says in his confessional about this scene that fighting was a part of the show when he joined the cast.
When I got on this show, fighting was a thing. Everybody was doing it.
So why is fighting a problem now? And why does VH1 continue to post and monetize fights if they're a problem? Getting rid of more violent cast members means very little when you still continue to post and monetize violence. If we're here just to watch people argue and fight and be in drama, fine, but be honest about it, and don't pick and choose who gets fired and who keeps their jobs. Alex is one of the only cast members that has gotten into fights, but only to defend himself. Alex came onto the show in season 6, and while he had an overblown ego, he quickly won over the fan base and was still on the most recent season. You can look at Alex and see that he's a little skinny, but he also mentions on the show that he has a heart condition, one that he ends up in the hospital for at some point. We're not going to cover Alex's first fight, which was with Donna's ex-boyfriend Mo. We're just going to cover his second one, where he was jumped by Caesar and Teddy, with Teddy sneaking the first punch. Here's the context if that matters to you. Bay, who we mentioned before, was engaged and had a dinner to celebrate her upcoming nuptials. At this point, Donna and Alex were dating and had fallen out with Caesar. Prior to their arrival, Caesar had just blown his lid at former employee Richard, also named Oh Shit. When Donna and Alex refused to talk to Caesar about their issues since it was Bay's day, we got the physical altercation. According to the show, this led to a back injury that put Alex's future as a tattoo artist in jeopardy. I'm pretty sure he also mentioned that he couldn't even pick up his son, who would have been around 4 or 5 years old at this time. But Alex is doing fine now, and like I said, was on the most recent season of the show. At Caesar's big age, he shouldn't be fighting to settle his disputes with his employees that he's fired numerous times, and he definitely shouldn't be jumping people with his little big cousin Teddy. Caesar went on to apologize for this assault later, and I believe Teddy said something like, "That's my cousin, you know how it goes," which isn't an apology, but unfortunately, an apology doesn't give Alex back the time that he lost. In season 9, I believe, former cast member Donna was dating Alex. There is a scene where Alex alleges that Donna struck him in the face and made him bleed. Donna denies that her hit made him bleed, but she seems to confirm that she did hit him. Up until this point, Donna had been a part of numerous fights taking place on the show. She's gotten into altercations with Rich's ex-girlfriend, Sky, Tati on more than one occasion, Crystal, and many others. Donna is literally known for fighting, but this is the first time that we see production step in a futile attempt to give her a firm talking to. Why now, production? One of the cast members, Puma, also acknowledges that it's being mishandled and that things would have been handled differently if the roles were reversed, that is, if Alex had hit Donna. I will also say that Donna is a survivor of domestic violence, and sometimes the person that was formerly abused goes on to abuse others. In July of 2022, a video from a Ring camera was leaked that allegedly shows Caesar beating and kicking his dog. Later, Caesar would say that the video is from his Ring camera and that he had no idea how it got leaked. I'll link it below, as I said in the beginning, but beware, it's graphic. VH1 jumped in and put out a statement pretty much immediately. It says, "We have made the decision to cut ties with Caesar Emanuel from Black Ink Crew New York. Since next season was close to finishing production, this decision will not impact the upcoming season." However, there was actually a lot of screen time dedicated to the cast and production processing Caesar's actions and firing, so it definitely impacted season 10. In fact, I would say that VH1 loved that they could spin a real-life scandal into something profitable, allegedly. But we'll get into their role later. For now, we simply can't gloss over how differently this situation was handled than the show's previous issues. Just look at the difference in the tones of these headlines. I honestly don't even remember Cheyenne's allegations getting very much attention at all, which is sad because she was calling out for help. Whether you believe it or not, she was a hurt child calling out for help.
Came home, my dogs was attacking each other. I don't mean like the regular just play fighting. I mean like they was going for each other's necks, basically trying to kill each other.
Right.
I separate the dogs. Now, one of the dogs attacked me. What I did was open the garage door trying to de-escalate it, but I was nervous. I'm not going to tell you no lie. You didn't want the dog to hurt you. Exactly. I was nervous and I was scared. So at the end of the day, I was trying to back the dog down. I was honestly trying to scare him. And not one time was I trying to abuse this dog. All I was trying to do was get him back in his cage. And the way the video was set up is like...
Teddy even talks about how he can't believe Caesar hit his dog since he's also a dog father. But Teddy is now an actual father and immediately believed Caesar about Cheyenne's abuse allegations, which sucks because if Caesar is his cousin, then that young lady is his family as well. And she even calls him Uncle Teddy. If you're one of the people that believes that the animal abuse is worse than the other abuse allegations, that's fine with me. I understand that the dog doesn't have access to social media and can't speak for itself, and there's video evidence documenting just how horrific this abuse was. But you should still be able to acknowledge that everything up until that point was handled incorrectly and created an environment where Caesar was going to continue to abuse others, where other cast members were going to continue to violate one another. Had he faced consequences for his actions prior to this, the animal abuse scandal could have been avoided. Let's name names. Despite what this website that's in need of an update would make you believe, Big Fish Entertainment is a very successful production company that works on Black Ink Crew, all 3 versions, Love and Hip Hop, all 5 or 6 versions, and even other big name shows like Martha Knows Best and Live PD. Many people wonder why this producer, Miss Treva Williams, played such a big role in this most recent season of Black Ink Crew New York, but she's been popping up for a while, specifically to put a face to production in these more high tense moments. She does the same for Love and Hip Hop. I don't know this woman, but I think it's clear that she's present to show the audience that production is involved and aware of the issue and to absolve the show and the network of wrongdoing wrongdoing for platforming a man that was clearly abusive and said that he needed help with his anger several times. Y'all, that came out of his mouth and was edited into the show several times. But to my knowledge, he never got help. And if he did get help, it didn't seem to take because he still remained abusive. In all of her scenes in season 10, Miss Williams essentially reiterates the same message. They have to regroup and figure out what to do next since Caesar's abuse allegations came to light. What she does not address is this. 1. Why production and VH1 stay silent about all other previous allegations of abuse. To be fair, Puma and Teddy just call a spade and say, it's on video, there's no getting around it.
It's a video, so you can't get around it. And you're wrong.
But I want to hear it from production since they take issues so seriously all of a sudden. And 2, why animal abuse was so horrible that filming had to eventually be paused and Caesar had to be fired, but it was okay to monetize them discussing the abuse again and again. Not only did they discuss it several times on the show, which they make money from, they also make money from the clips that they repost to YouTube. Here's the clip of Alex getting jumped by Caesar and Teddy on the official VH1 page with a pre-roll ad on it. Here's the video of Puma, Teddy, and Treva discussing the abuse on VH1's channel with a pre-roll ad. So while I won't make any money from this video talking about violence, they can make money from their videos actually depicting violence. Side note, I want to say that I think discussing what happened with Caesar on the show is important to let the audience know that they're doing something about it. But posting several clips on the internet and monetizing them all, I think is too much. Even after Caesar was fired, he came out and corroborated some of Dutchess's accusations against VH1. After she was fired, Dutchess said that VH1 kept them on a tight schedule and tried to control them, even saying that after they finally allowed her to go to her own grandmother's funeral, they threatened to fire Caesar if he accompanied her there. In that live we talked about, Dutchess also said that after her Breakfast Club interview, she received a cease and desist from the show and not from Caesar. According to Caesar, he's been working to change, and I hope that's the truth. But at the end of the day, Caesar has lost nothing. He's still a successful tattoo artist with a large following. He owns several locations. He'll be fine. I'm not here to say what accountability looks like for him. What I am here to say is that VH1 and everyone involved in producing the show has absolutely no regard for the lives of the people that work for them, allegedly. They didn't feel the need to even address anything up until this point, let alone take action. Violence is an integral part of the show, which has been on for 9 seasons before this, and now in the 10th season is when they want to take a stand against it. But at the same time, they haven't made any sort of statement about all the previous violence displayed on the show. There are rumors that the show is canceled already, but no decision has come out. In the final episode of season 10, the cast sits and learns of Caesar's firing, and they all wonder what will be next for the show and for them. I'm definitely sympathetic to the cast. Losing your primary source of income is nothing to sneeze at, but many of them have their own tattoo shops. I'm pretty sure Alex has an OnlyFans, and they all have developed some sort of social media following, and so they can make money through influencer marketing for a while, if nothing else. It seems like what they're most upset about is losing this family they've created, but for some reason this final scene doesn't sit right with me. I understand that it may be the end of an era, but it seems so melodramatic and disingenuous, especially when Caesar literally did this to himself and to his team. He hit the dog, he filmed it, and his footage was leaked. Miss Williams never gave a solid answer on whether or not Black Ink Crew is over for good, but I bet it's not. I don't see it ending. Not only is it a cash cow, but people move on very quickly.